Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. Their brother lives in
the living room of their deceased grandmother's house.
I'm living where I am because I'm terrified of interacting with people.
Why is he that way and you two are not?
Honestly, we can't tell you.
He won't even touch a doorknob, and he's living in a petri dish. He says he would rather live on the street than get a job. We're going to put that to the test. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, today's guest has quite the living arrangement. His sisters, Mia and Kiki, call it the cave because it's where their 30-year-old brother, Forrest, hides out. It's the living room of their deceased grandmother's house. She died 4 years ago, but he refuses to leave. Now, there's a stained mattress on the floor, food wrappers, trash, dirty dishes everywhere, and the entire room reeks of cigarettes. Forrest says he has too many ailments, so he can't work or buy his own groceries. But his sisters say his made-up illnesses are just an excuse. Take a look.
My brother Forrest is a compulsive liar. He's disconnected from reality.
Forrest is manipulative and takes advantage of anyone he can. Forrest has been living in my deceased granny's house in this little room we call the cave.
This is the cave. This is Forrest's bed.
Forrest sleeps on the floor on a mattress that is stained. He has the windows blacked out with no light.
Last time I was in there, there were piles of laundry.
Oh no, they're still there.
It's just completely unlivable. It's gross, it's dirty.
Cigarettes on the floor, the little food station here.
I swear I've looked at the same mac and cheese plate for 7 months. It was supposed to be temporary so he could find a job and get his own place, but he never did.
He's been living there for 4 years and counting.
Forrest is completely content living in my granny's house until he's forced to move out. He likes to play video games all night, and I'm pretty sure that's why he sleeps during the day. Forrest has never had a job and paid his own way.
Forrest is a hypochondriac and will not leave the house because he's afraid he'll get sick.
The only thing Forrest has been diagnosed with is depression. And if you lived in a cave for 23 hours a day, I think you would be depressed too. The only time Forrest leaves is to go out and get cigarettes.
He's paranoid about COVID. He uses COVID as an excuse not to leave the house.
Forrest takes it to the extreme.
He wears 3 or 4 or 5 masks.
When I see Forrest do that, I'm just like, is he serious right now? On the way to the Dr. Phil show, he used a whole bottle of Mom's hand sanitizer. It's not just like a little dabble. He's like icing a cake.
There's no doubt in my mind that my brother's completely comfortable living the way he is.
When Forrest told us that he would rather be homeless than have to get a job, we were all repulsed and appalled.
He's told me he'll live on the street if he has to. My sister and I both have careers and we're both successful and have goals and aspirations. I just don't know where along the way that my brother got lost.
The family plans to sell their grandmother's house this summer. So where will Forrest go once that happens? He says he would rather live on the street than get a job. And trust me, we're going to put that to the test. They say their grandma spoiled him when she was alive, and now their mom, Leslie, is giving him a free ride.
I love my mom, but she enables Forrest. She's a bit of a pushover. That's why he knows he can get away with anything he does.
Forrest is very, very good at manipulating people, especially my mom.
My mom brings food to Forrest once or twice a week.
I don't think buying Forrest food is necessarily enabling him, but I do think that her paying for his phone bill and buying him cigarettes is enabling him.
My mom doesn't have enough money to support Forrest. She barely has enough money to support herself, but she does make sure that the bills are always paid and there's a roof over his head.
My mom pays the electric, water, and gas bill and any other bills that need to be paid. The problem with Forrest is he has been spoiled his whole life.
My granny spoiled all of us, but Forrest was different. She paid his rent, all of his bills. She would hand him money.
Forrest got so used to my grandma spoiling him. He grew up with the mindset that everything would always be handed to him. He has no motivation or drive to do anything.
My sister and I would never allow Forrest to take advantage of us, and he knows that. Anytime he tries or even thinks about it, we shut it down immediately.
In Forrest's eyes, he can live rent-free and be completely away from society because my mom is taking care of him.
Forrest is 30 years old, and my mom providing and buying food for him cannot go on forever.
Okay, now here's the $64,000 question. Why is he that way and you two are not? You two launched. He stayed on the launch pad. Why?
Honestly, we're confused ourselves. We were raised the same. We grew up the same. So honestly, we can't tell you.
We're not sure where he got lost, but...
Did you two lock him in the closet and beat the out of him every day or something? Seriously, he is behaving like a 12 to 14-year-old child, no life skills, no ability to do anything because he hasn't gotten out and done anything at all. If we put him out of the house today and it was raining, he would just get wet.
Right. Oh, yeah. Or he would call our mom and ask to stay over there because, you know.
Barring her coming in and rescuing him,
right.
he
would be stuck.
He has no clue.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know why. No huge trauma, nothing.
Just the spoiling.
He won't even touch a doorknob. I mean, he gets his sleeve down.
Right.
And he's living in a Petri dish. I mean, look at this living room. God knows what fungus is growing in there.
Right.
Yeah, it's gross.
And so he's okay to live here, but yet he's a germphobe.
Right. That's what we don't understand.
That's why we believe the whole thing is just an act because, you know, pre-COVID, pre-everything, he was still doing this, so...
He wouldn't attend family events, Christmas, Thanksgiving, nothing.
He would actually cause arguments when we would invite him to birthday parties, family dinners.
But then he complains about being left out.
Right.
So
We offered to
everything's a
pick him up.
contradiction.
Right.
Now, this house is going to be sold soon.
Right.
Yes.
When?
The plan is this summer.
It was supposed to be in August.
It just keeps getting pushed down the road because Forrest is staying there, and it's like, where's he gonna go?
So you're holding up the sale of this house because he's there?
Yes.
Yes. And we tried everything, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, that's
But we
they
have,
can't.
I have a house, she has a house, our mom has a house. So it's like, why keep this house?
Because
Our uncle
Forrest
has a house. But yeah, Forrest has a house.
Yeah, he has a house. You have a house.
Exactly.
It's just he just doesn't own his or earn his.
Right.
All right, coming up, me and Kiki say it's a never-ending cycle of enabling with Forrest. That's the problem. They say first it was their grandmother. She spoiled him. Now it's their mom. We're going to meet Mom and talk about that next.
I try not to enable Forrest, but I'm afraid he's going to starve to death, and I end up getting him more food. I've been buying groceries for Forrest for about 2 years. Each week, Forrest manipulates me into giving him more money. It just never stops.
And later, I asked you what you were passionate about, and you said jewelry and music, and you didn't mention your son. You're not passionate about your child?
Forrest is very disrespectful to my mom. He calls her names and doesn't seem to care how she feels about anything.
Forrest screams and yells and loses it on her all the time. The other day when Forrest and I got into an argument, I really got a taste of what it was like from hearing all those phone calls from Mom.
To be in her shoes.
He was yelling at both of us. He said, you this, you Mia. He said, get the out, you B.
Forrest doesn't really call me names because I think he knows I won't tolerate it. I can ask her, we can ask Mom. No one disrespects Mom like you do.
Well, Mia and Kiki are Forrest's sisters. They would make any parent proud. They grew up, they launched, they got out on their own. But their brother Forrest, not so much. They say their grandmother enabled and spoiled him when she was alive, and the cycle continues with their mother.
My son, Forrest, is ill-equipped for life, and he's clueless. I don't know where I went wrong. I am the one that's letting him live at my mother's house, but for some reason, I am the one he's angry at. He calls me an idiot, bitch, terrible mom, and a loser. I try not to enable Forrest, but I'm afraid he's going to starve to death, and I end up getting him more food. I've been buying groceries for Forrest for about 2 years. He's really worried about getting COVID from any food that's brought in. He sanitizes each and every item. I try not to buy him cigarettes, but I can see that he's going through withdrawals, and I'll get him a pack. Each week, Forrest manipulates me into giving him more money. It just never stops. I spend $300 a month on my son, but I'm on a fixed income. $35 a month on cigarettes, $30 a week on groceries, $200 a month in utilities, and $60 a month on his cell phone. My son doesn't seem to have a plan for how he's going to support himself. He's actually considered the possibility of trying to get on disability. They're not going to give him disability because he has no proof that he's disabled.
Leslie, it's good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well. Thank you.
You've been listening, right?
Oh, yes.
And has this been described pretty accurately with what you're up against?
Pretty accurately.
Anything you want to add, correct?
I do think he has some tooth problems that may be causing some inflammation and pain, but other than that, I don't think there's anything that's going to prevent him from working.
I know where y'all are from, and they have dentists all over the place up there, so that's no problem.
Well, it's just my income is pretty low right now. And
there's actually a dental school right there. You can take him to the dental school at the university.
And we actually made an appointment for up there, and when the appointment time came, darn it, he was sick.
Even an infant, when they get hungry enough, they'll eat. They get thirsty enough, they'll drink. We're talking about a 30-year-old man here. You say, if I don't bring him food, he'll starve to death. No, he won't.
Well,
he will eat if he gets hungry enough.
He will go for 2 days without eating, and at that point, he starts to get a little woozy, and that's when I start to think, I'll take him some peanut butter, I'll take him some bread.
That's when he'll eat.
Good to know.
Do you think you're enabling him?
Maybe a little bit.
We tell her all the time she's enabling him because, I mean,
he just keeps promising he's going to get his act
lying,
together.
but why do you... He's a compulsive liar. We've told you that.
Why would you believe anything that he's saying?
Because he knows that we're not going to have the house for him to stay at forever. I just keep thinking he's going to really understand that he's got to get his act together and get with the program. And
I kind of figured that he wasn't when I made him multiple Excel spreadsheets on how much money he could spend, an apartment, food. I even had 2 jobs lined out for him. It printed applications, and he blew it off.
Do you know why I'm not saying anything right now?
No.
Because they're brilliant.
They are.
They're telling you exactly what the situation is, exactly that you're getting played, exactly how he's doing it, and that you're rewarding bad behavior.
I'm trying not to. I'm really trying to push him out of the nest. I really am.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And there's no doubt that you have good intentions. I want to bring him out here, but I don't want to bring him out here until I know I have you on my side. Because you are enabling him. You are the biggest obstacle I have right now. You're not responsible for him, but you are an obstacle to me getting him to do what he needs to do, because you're doing everything that makes it possible for him to continue to be non-productive. And you say, well, sort of, maybe, kind of. If you're kind of, sort of, maybe, kind of making excuses for it, then I really don't want you out here when he comes out here, because you're going to cave.
No, I'm not.
And if he gets woozy and is going to fall over, then tie a pillow to his head. But he's just going to have to get woozy and fall over because you're going to have to stop doing this.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right, we've been talking about him, but now it's time to meet him. You're going to meet Forrest next.
I have very bad problems with depersonalization. I have trichotillomania, derealization, fibromyalgia, acute anxiety, paranoia. Dr. Phil is an intelligent enough man to know that I have these problems.
When Forrest was about 13 or 14, he began acting out. and his grades were slipping. At one point, he socked my mother in the arm. A friend told me about a boys' ranch. They took slightly at-risk boys and tried to turn their lives around.
The ranch seemed like a really great place for Forrest. He had a full ride scholarship to an Oklahoma university if he stayed there, but he did not stick it out.
Forrest threatened to run away from the ranch, so I let him come home a few months before graduating. He moved in with my mother and dropped out of high school.
It's pretty typical for Forrest to start something and not finish it.
If he would have stayed at the ranch, his life would be much different than it is now.
Leslie says she did what she thought was best for her son, Forrest, by sending him to the boarding school when he was 14 to learn structure, but then it didn't end in the most productive way. Forrest says, no, she didn't send me to a boarding school to prepare me for life. She abandoned me. And he now suffers from many health issues because of that.
When I moved into my grandmother's, I was dealing with acute anxiety, paranoia, health problems that I'm still dealing with right now. It's a shock to me that I'm still living in my grandmother's house. It's embarrassing. The reason that I'm still living where I am is because I'm genuinely terrified of interacting with people. I have very bad problems with depersonalization. Most of these are self-diagnosed. I have trichotillomania. Trichotillomania is a disorder that involves pulling your hair and getting a release of endorphins from doing it.
I've had to shave my head multiple times throughout my life to keep myself from pulling out any more hair.
I have very bad derealization, and I have to constantly remind myself that I exist. I've self-diagnosed myself with having fibromyalgia. I've always had paranoia and anxiety. I have unrealistic ideology of things like being killed by an asteroid, atomic bombs, being killed by the universe ending in vacuum decay, dying of plagues. I have obsessive disorders. I would do things like wash my hands in a certain pattern.
One thing I have a really big problem with is touching doors. They're very dirty. I won't even use any part of my skin.
Ever since the pandemic hit, I sleep, I eat, and that's about it. I don't eat anything that is cooked by somebody else. Everything I eat is packaged. When I get home, I have to wash everything. Dr. Phil is an intelligent enough man to know that I have these problems. I would like him to convey that to my mother and sisters. I think he can help project to them these problems that I'm going through are very real and aren't made up.
So Forrest, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
If you were going to change something about your life, what would you change it to?
Just to get up, be productive, you know, what a lot of people are like, but not anything like I am right now.
Is there something in your life you're passionate about?
I've always been very passionate about jewelry and music.
Listening to music or making music?
Making music, production.
And do you take any steps that get you closer to your passion being part of your day-to-day life?
Not really so much anymore.
You say you have physical and mental problems, and you listed a lot of them, and they've gotten worse over the years. And, you know, there's quite a list. You say you're emotionally damaged, that your mom tried to get rid of you. You can't see your son. You got no money, you're depressed, you have anxiety attacks. Whew. Asteroids might hit you.
Yeah, I know these unrealistic scenarios that I have. I'm aware of how they aren't feasible at all and realistic, but I can't convince myself that they're not real to me, which is something I have a really hard time dealing with, and that makes me even more stressed out.
And I asked you what you were passionate about, and you said jewelry and music, and you didn't mention your son. You're not passionate about your child?
I don't feel like I have enough of a grasp on my life that I'm able to care for him like I should be able to.
Well, the family says they are trying to sell their grandma's house this summer. Is Forrest okay with being homeless? We'll talk more about that when we come back. People that are OCD and germ-phobes would never live in that kind of a situation. That's good news.
OCD is defined over a very broad spectrum, and I feel like I would fit into a certain niche of that.
Yeah, thanks for that tutorial.
I'm sorry.
I invested in a cell phone for Forrest with the understanding that he'd start paying the phone bills himself. The phone cost me $180. He paid me back a little for a month, but then he never paid any more. I finally had to just get it turned off.
Right before we came on the Dr. Phil show, he said, if you don't get my phone turned on, I'm not going. The phone that he does not pay for, never has paid for, and if she didn't hand him $50 cash, he was not going on the show.
I agreed to turn it back on so he would come and talk to Dr. Phil. He used Dr. Phil to manipulate me.
You've been listening to your brother interact with me. What's your read on him with me?
I'm just confused. I mean, yes, we know you have passions, but why don't we see these passions? Like, I just can't piece this together in my head, and I know Kiki can't. Like, if you're really passionate about these things, then where is it? Where's the passion? Like, I don't see it.
I feel like my sisters and mother are very incredulous to everything that's going on with me, and that's very distressing to me.
Because we want better for you. We want that.
Yeah, well, I have some good news. Okay. Would you like some good news?
Yes, please.
When I look at your disorders up here, there are some things that are contradictions that rule out a lot of the things that you fear having. You are living in a very unsanitary situation. People that are OCD and germ-phobes would never live in that kind of a situation.
I am aware of that, and
That's good news. But you should be relieved that rules out certain things, and not everything, but it rules out certain things.
Yeah, I think it's more of the motions with certain OCD things like that. I know that traditionally with OCD, there's certain you do things in a certain pattern, but OCD is defined over a very broad spectrum, and I feel like I would fit into a certain niche of that.
Yeah, thanks for that tutorial.
I'm sorry.
On OCD. I appreciate you catching me up on that. Coming up, Forrest's family says that he may be going from Grandma's house to a homeless camp. So we took him for a little tour of the street life. How'd that go? We'll be right back.
What advice do you have for Forrest?
I am telling you, if you think you want this, you are wasting your thought. They say they're happy and okay with it. They're lying to you.
Well, this family wants to get Forrest out of his grandma's living room and on a healthy path to success. I've invited someone here today because I believe he can have a real impact in Forrest's life going forward. I'm talking about Coach Mike Baer. And now, Coach Mike has contributed to countless shows that we've done here and has changed the life of every guest he has encountered. And he's just written a new book, by the way, called One Decision, which just, by the way, congratulations, hit the New York Times bestseller list. That's your second book in a row to go on the New York Times bestseller list. And we've talked about the fact that Forrest might become homeless. So I had Mike Baer give him a little experience, a little taste of the lifestyle on the streets of LA. Take a look.
Hey, Forrest.
Hey.
Coach Mike here.
Coach Mike.
Forrest, there's hundreds of homeless people around here, and it's really dangerous.
Yep, I noticed.
I know that you've communicated to your family that you would rather be homeless than have to get a job, get working, make money, live on your own, right?
If we're just being blatantly honest, that's what I think.
Do you think it's harder to get a job and keep it, or be homeless and stay safe?
Probably to get a job and keep it.
This is Colleen.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
This is Forrest. He's saying that he potentially thinks he's going to end up homeless unless he gets together and gets a job. What advice do you have for Forrest?
I am telling you, if you think you want this, you are wasting your thought. They say they're happy and okay with it. They're lying to you. You don't have that home. You don't have that safe place. You don't have that safe haven.
Colleen,
Yeah.
I appreciate you talking to Forrest. So underneath here, what we have is a tent.
It's a tent.
This is all you. This will give you practice.
It's difficult, and it's taking a lot longer than it should.
It's not quite the same when your friends aren't with you.
No, it's not fun at all.
And then what would you do for food?
Soup kitchens, and probably convenience stores and gas stations. You're not gonna help me?
Man, this is your deal. It is going to be dark in a few hours. It's a different set of circumstances when it starts to get darker around here.
We're gonna be here a long time.
What happens when it gets really cold?
That's probably the part that I'm most stressed about.
I think we can both agree you kind of have a weak sister plan.
Yeah.
In terms of your ability to survive on your own.
Yeah.
Starting to have a change of heart, maybe?
Yeah.
And by the way, this is the least stressful part.
I know.
We haven't even started being homeless yet.
I know.
We're just trying to put a tent together. You deserve to get on track and get the life that you really want. And we'll sit down with Dr. Phil and figure out what is an option for you that's going to get your life on track.
I've been homeless, and I can tell you, I fought every day to keep my shoes, my stuff. I mean, every day I had to fight somebody for something. He's not cut out for this.
This is a tough life. I mean, Forrest can hardly survive in a house. How would he survive on the streets?
Yeah, because you're saying after a couple of days, he gets woozy because he doesn't have any chicken noodle soup.
Right.
That's in the living room of your grandmother's house.
Yes.
That we're talking about being on the streets.
Everything is harder. Every single activity you do day to day is harder.
And it's dangerous. It's just not a viable alternative if you have a choice. You're how old?
I'm 30.
Okay, I want to show you something. Let me have this out here. If you will, Forrest, hop down and come over here if you would. Stand on 30. That's your age. Okay, Mike, go down here to the end if you would. Okay, look what's behind you. That's how much of your life is behind you. And this is how much life is ahead of you. What the hell are you going to do for 55 years? Is your theory to sit on your grandma's couch for 55 years? You got to decide to do something with your... This is going to get really boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Indeed.
When you use an example like this, it seems a lot longer.
But yet time is running out. This family is trying to sell their grandma's house this summer. And if they listen to me, they'll do it sooner than later. Will he? Can he change his ways? Find out right after the break. Hey everyone, season 19 is underway.
If you're in Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, New Jersey, or anywhere else in the world, now you can be a part of our virtual audience.
Go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience for more information. Forrest, let me tell you something. Right now, it probably looks insurmountable to get from where you are to where you want or need to be. You don't have to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Superman does that. You just need to change your behavior tomorrow. And then you need to change it the next day. And small changes accumulate into big results across time.
Do you think this is possible for you to change?
Oh, yeah, I think it is.
I do too. But no, but you think it's possible?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so what I've listed out are some goals, right? And the theme of it is you taking action and you being held accountable. Okay, so here's some goals we initially would set. It's flipping your schedule, wake up at a normal time, go to bed at a normal time, get your sleep schedule in the right place. Video games would be turned in, no video games for now because it's not working for you. Instead, we'd replace that with cleaning the living room. You're gonna be looking for a job. You're gonna be buying your own groceries, and you're gonna be getting physically and emotionally healthier. Now, you're probably going, how the heck am I gonna do all this? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I would have a coach working with you from Cast Centers who's gonna hold you accountable, who's gonna help you follow through with these goals. We're gonna set someone up locally who lives in your hometown who's gonna see you 5 days a week. It's gonna be someone who's a combination of a trainer, nutrition, health, cleaning, making sure, almost in kind of a drill sergeant way, that you're getting your life organized and on track.
Okay.
And then also we'd set them up with a therapist.
And so through Doctor On Demand, since we are in a pandemic right now, my son started the company, so I know it's a good one. I'll set 10 sessions up right now that you can do on your computer with a board-certified and licensed psychologist that will work with you to talk about anxiety, depression, all of the things that need to be done. You're going to have a team around you of professionals that are designed to close this gap you're talking about and get you back into the world where you can get some joy and some fun out of life. And you guys are going to be the eyes and ears, and you're going to be reporting to the coach and telling them things, and the coach is going to be telling you what to do and not to do.
All right.
So you can help. All right. Sounds like we have a plan. Now, Coach Mike, thanks for being here. And don't forget his new book, One Decision. It's a New York Times bestseller, and you can find it anywhere books are sold. And if you at home want to have your own Doctor On Demand, go to Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download Doctor On Demand. All right, now let's change gears here. Are you looking for a way to have some fun and excitement anytime and anywhere? Well, if so, I've got just the thing for you coming up right after the break. Are you looking for a way to incorporate more excitement and fun into your day-to-day life? And you don't want to have to leave home to do it. Well, it's an app game that brings the thrill of Vegas-style casino right to your cell phone. It's called Slotomania, and it is the #1 free online slots game in the world. Slotomania offers its players a virtual slots experience with the wildest collection of free slots games around. Now, we have a super fan of the game here today, and we're going to challenge her. So where's Rachel?
I'm right here, Dr. Phil.
Hey, Rachel, how are you?
I'm good.
Where are you, and how long have you been playing?
I am in Georgia, and I discovered Slotomania in 2011 when I was looking for a new game to play on my phone. It's my favorite game, and I play every day when my kids go to school and my husband's at work.
So tell us, what do you enjoy most about Slotomania?
I love the daily dashes. Every day is something totally different. But my favorite part are the groups called clans. I'm in a clan with some family members, and it gives us a chance to play together virtually in a time where we can't physically be together. I'm also a member of the amazing Slotomania supergroup on Facebook.
Wow. Well, Rachel, since you're in the supergroup, you must be super good. So we're going to put you to the challenge. I want you to spin those Slotomania wheels and see if you get at least 2 big wins. So, all right, Rachel, grab your phone and let's put up the 30-second clock. All right, ready, set, spin. Now, while she's doing this, I'll tell you, on this exciting app, you can choose from 160 free-to-play casino slot machines, as well as card albums, mini games, and other entertaining features. The pandemic can make day-to-day life feel monotonous, so it's important to incorporate some fun into your routine. And all the excitement this game brings will leave you wondering, what will today spin? And Slotomania is the #1 free online slot game app in the world and has more than 13 million Facebook fans. So how you doing, Rachel?
I got my 2 big wins.
You got them. All right. Well, congratulations. You are good. All right. So you and our whole virtual audience are lucky and will receive an e-gift card from Slotomania for $100. Look, if you're looking to fill your day with some fun and excitement, then look no further. This is the game for you. To play, just go to your Apple App Store or Google Play on your phone and download Slotomania for free. I did, and I can't quit playing the damn thing. It really is a lot of fun. Plus, you'll get a special welcome bonus of 1 million free coins. I got my million. I think you'll love it as much as Rachel does. So there you go. I want to thank all of my guests today, and thank you, Rachel, for playing along. If you want to be part of our virtual audience, we'd love to have you, and you can join us from anywhere in the world. All you need is a computer with a camera and a high-speed internet. For all the details, go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience. Also, I'd love to hear from you on our social platforms. And don't forget to join our new Facebook page, Dr. Phil Fanatics. It's the place where superfans go to discuss what we do right here on the stage. And be sure to subscribe to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret, with Robin McGraw. She has amazing guests share their secrets to an enlightening and empowering life. It's really entertaining, sometimes very provocative. Don't miss a single episode. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. So long.
I'm nervous about today. I'm not gonna lie. The last time I really had any physical exercise was probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
The type of workouts I have planned for Forrest, at first we're gonna do some push-ups and lunges just to test his knees and his flexibility. Push up. Now give me a push-up. Keep going, man. I brought some kettlebells and dumbbells and some slam balls. Let's do about 3 or 4 more of those. You're gonna do 100. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna do a little bit of a kettlebell swing, all right? There you go. There you go.
I got it smoking.
Kettlebells will show that really fast. I think Forrest did pretty well. He came in knowing that he was out of shape. Today is a good starting point, and I think this was an eye-opening experience for him.
Real tired, not gonna lie. I knew it was gonna be hard given the fact that I haven't worked out in such a long time. I want to thank Dr. Phil for giving me the opportunity, and I also want to thank Roger because he's a really great guy, and here's hoping that it can only go up from here.
All right.
Hey, guys, just thought I'd come out and say hey before I finish today. Hey.
Hey.
A little scary out on the street?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I forgot that you were homeless at one time.
Yeah, I was only 14 at the time, so it's different when you're a kid.
Yeah, but you're tough.
Yeah, I got tough then, that's for damn sure. You know, I extended things out with the mother because she wasn't on the team. The mother was not realizing that she's crippling this kid. Look, when you indulge these kids and you fail to teach them life skills, then you're doing them no favor, right?
Really, with him, Dr. Phil and I were talking ahead of time. I said, he needs someone. I think he needs a male figure showing up in his life consistently that just says, here's what we're doing today. I don't care if you don't like it. We're gonna get through it. And I think he has a shot.
He won't last on the street. Don't think you're doing your kids a favor when you do everything for them. You gotta let them do things for themselves so they learn how. And, you know, we have two boys, Jay and Jordan, and I had conversations with them when they were in junior high and high school about car insurance, how to change a tire. And Jay, on the right, he sent us a picture just a few days ago.
Yes.
He had his daughter Avery and his son London out in the driveway showing him how to change a tire on a car. And they're 10 and 8.5. And of course, his daughter Avery said, "Why are we changing this tire? There's nothing wrong with it." He said, "Because you need to know how." So he was showing, you've got to teach them that stuff so they know how. So anyway, we got to go. I just wanted to come out and say, hey. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.